Oh,
It's your boys.
man. All right. Wow. Fuck.
Oh man, we got an episode for you.
We got an
today.
episode this week. Welcome everybody to Intermission 3 of the GrubCast.
Yes.
Welcome, one and all.
We're gonna
Ooh.
catch up with the side characters from the GrubCast
God,
canon.
yes. Did you like that new intro?
Ooh, it was smooth.
We'll talk about that when we get to fan art, but it was pretty. It was pretty smooth.
Jazzy.
Welcome everybody to the GrubCast. On episode 7, we did haphazardly promise to delay episode 21.
Unfortunate for you.
Yeah, and the time has now come. But we've been delaying it too much recently. So I would feel bad if we didn't have an episode for this bit. So we got a little something special. But before we get into any of that, fuck you. I'm holding you ransom. I'm holding your content ransom from you.
Yeah, listen to a spiel.
It's time to shill. It's time to shill hardcore. Guys, you're lonely. And I get that. You're a Homestuck fan. But lucky for you, we have an excellent Discord server linked down in the description where you can talk to a bunch of other cool Homestucks
other lonely Homestucks.
and become non-lonely, or at the very least, be lonely together.
Yeah. It's almost the same as not being lonely.
Yeah, but let's say that you want to show that you are the superior Homestuck. Prove your Homestuck skill and decadence.
How would I do that?
Well, the answer you do that is by giving me American Freedom Eagles. You give me a couple of some green bucks and also ET.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, give us money on our Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon.
It's pretty awesome. And let's say you donate $3 to the Patreon.
Yeah.
Well, now that's an epic Discord roll just for you. But let's say you want to donate more to the Patreon. Then you get $5 a month to the Patreon. And then you get an even cooler, epicer Discord roll. Plus all of the art for all of the episodes, including this week's significantly shittier than normal artwork of badly photoshopped Nicolas Cage.
Whoa, look at him.
And it's incredible, isn't it? God, it's beautiful. But you get all the other artwork for all the other episodes as well. So, I'm just saying, kind of a deal. Speaking of our patrons, oh boy, I'd love to give them a big old shout out.
Big old shout out.
All right.
Our lovely Patreons. We love you guys the most.
$3 patron, singular, not Lama. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to our two brand new patrons.
Whoa, what?
$5 patron, Demon Girlfriend, who actually made the intro for this episode. Thank you so much. And the big spender, the Mr. Moneybags himself, for $10 a month. Rohan Padmakumar, thank you so much.
Is that
my
the
fucking boy?
Rohan?
Yes, that is the Rohan.
Oh my goodness.
Been on the starring in the Filler Hive Swap Lights Play and on one GrubCast gaming stream.
He's my favorite GrubCast side character.
out of the extended supporting cast, he's definitely one of my favorites. And thank you to all of our previous patrons as well. Leah, Karak Tooling, Lizard King, Changeable Landscape, Ada, Blue Liz, Toby Classback Expert, My Homestuck Dante, and Mia Bowman. That list is starting to get surprisingly long.
Right?
We might need to move it to the end of the episode at some point.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, yeah, we'll quick start with a shout out. It's like 4 people. That's
Now it's
starting
like
to get it like I'm starting to have to scroll down on this list of names.
A small
and I want
battalion.
more. Keep it coming. I want you to inconvenience me as much as possible. I want my wallet to be so full that it's impossible for me to walk anywhere.
Dummy thick wallet.
Yes. Thank you so much to everyone who is giving us money. Excellent. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at GrubCast. Make sure to like and subscribe and all the other YouTube things. And I don't fucking care anymore.
Everything the algorithm likes. Anyway.
Fan art. Let's talk about that intro. That intro, as I said before, was done by Demon Girlfriend on SoundCloud. It was linked down below.
And it is so smooth.
So like jazzy and smooth. And they worked in some of those fucking like leitmotifs from Homestuck. That was great. And there was Doctor in the background. There's one that is definitely a motif, but I don't recognize it.
Yeah, like it's familiar, but I can't quite place it.
I can't fucking put my finger on it, but I really like it. It's pretty great. It's super jazzy, super smooth. It gets that more chill energy.
And that's perfect for how chill this episode is gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be so chill as we destroy your mind. Oh, thank you so much to Demon Girlfriend for that excellent fucking intro that we might end up using more. I don't know. It might be an intro that we keep in the back pocket for special episodes. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, that'll be like our alternate.
The normal intro for the normal episodes, and then the super nice jazzy intro for when we do like special stuff.
Yeah.
That seems like a good idea. Now, for the rest of the fan art, we have some honorable, first ever honorable mention. Literate Amateur did a graph for us explaining universes for dummies, since I fucked them up so much in a previous episode. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you because it contains a spoiler.
Heartbreak.
Which is rough. Sorry. So you'll just have to take my word for it. It truly is a wonder of graphic design. Graphic design is my passion.
I'm imagining it, and it looks amazing.
Oh my goodness, yes. Can you see its glory?
In my mind's eye.
In my mind palace, I see Homestuck universes for dummies. So thank you, Literate Amateur, for sending that in. But I can't put it in because it's a spoiler. Sorry. Now we have two other art pieces inspired by the tragedy of GrubCast episode 21. First up is by Harmony, and it's a little comic.
Oh, another comic?
Yeah, it's inspired by Al's comics. Look, there I am, gaming. I do a full fucking head turn. And there it is. It's recording day in November. The episode's edited. This is your line.
Oh, sweet. Going up tonight, then?
No. Oh, no, my dude. It is time for the delay. I have this fucking beautiful, like, dramatic black and white shading.
You're just, like, super, like, in your villain arc right now, and I'm just confused in the background.
Yeah,
it's like,
E.T.'s just like, man, I don't know what's going on. Whereas I'm just I'm becoming a Bond villain.
For the delay.
As if we don't have to delay episodes every other week anyway. Oh boy. Thank you very much, Harmony. I fucking love this. Beautiful. I love keep the comics rolling. I love them.
Yes.
I love them so much.
I'm a big fan.
And then we also have the Average Bicentennial Podcast.
We look so
me
Chad.
When we delay another episode. Yeah. You're never getting content ever again.
Ever.
We are so... God, we have such defined chins. God, we're so incredible. Your pectoral muscles are fucking insane.
Jacked.
You're jacked as shit.
That content's not coming out for years.
How did you get this strong? Every time GrubCast delays an episode, I do one push-up. Fucking beautiful. Thank you so much to Sunnyflower in the Discord. She's been pumping them out.
Good man.
Thank God.
We got real fans out here.
Those were fucking beautiful. They also posted this, like, an hour ago. So they really snuck in at the finish line here.
Barely made it, yeah.
Thank you so much to everyone who drew fan art. It's beautiful.
We appreciate it and love all of it.
Now, we need to talk about Nicolas Cage. So
your favorite Homestuck? Nicolas Cage.
We've been trying to figure out how to follow up the Con Air episode. And we realized that we need to delay episode 21, but we don't want to just not put out anything.
Yeah.
So in honor of John Egbert, we have done another Nicolas Cage movie.
Watch the sequel to Con Air, Con Air 2, or otherwise known as
Con Air Squared Beyond the Box. We have watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
And bro, is it massive.
Oh my, the talent is off the fucking charts. For sure. Oh. Man, so where do we even begin with this? It's
so like just like as a first spoilers for all of Massive Talent.
For all of Massive Talent.
In case you weren't clear, we weren't clear about it.
Just to be clear, going into this movie is like good.
Oh yeah, no, it is like legitimately a good piece of film.
Whereas Con Air was, we love it, but because of how like unabashedly kind of terrible
like
it is,
silly and like over the top.
No, this movie's like good,
like actually well written, well shot. Just like as like a heads up, so the concept is Nicolas Cage is playing Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's like an actual difference, but I do hope that the character in the movie is just Nick Cage, not Nicholas.
Yeah.
Because they put that in the title card or in the thumbnail. But yeah, Nicolas plays Nick Cage, who is essentially the Nick Cage we all know and love, the guy with the bees and the weirdo from Con Air.
There he is. The movie starts with people watching Con Air.
Yeah, there's people enjoying that as a flick.
Yeah. and then like they turn to one another and they say like, God, Nicolas Cage is so fucking cool.
He's such a fucking amazing movie star.
Oh, and like you hear that's the description of the movie. Is that it's Nick Cage playing Nick Cage and everyone loves Nick Cage in the movie. And you think like, oh, this is some weird vanity project.
Yeah, this is going to be Nick Cage sucking himself off for like 2 hours. But it actually takes a dramatic turn when we find out, oh no, this is about his struggle as a artist. He makes all these movies that everyone in this universe loves to death, but is also struggling to find something that makes him feel fulfilled in his creative
you
works.
skipped past the fact that the opening scene of the movie is that a girl gets fucking kidnapped.
Oh yeah, that happens like right after.
It's the opening scene is that girl and her boyfriend are
watching flicks,
movie,
fucking amazing Con Air.
It's not at all clear that she's like the president's daughter or something.
No, it's just random girl.
She's like in a normal house
speaking, I believe, Spanish.
Yeah.
Gets kidnapped, and then all right, Nick Cage.
Yeah, but like she's just in like a normal house, and it's only later that we find out that she's like the daughter of this massive fucking politician.
That's actually a very important character and will matter later.
Yeah. So she gets kidnapped while watching Nick Cage movies, and then we cut to Nick Cage, and he's
vibing.
No, he's okay. So he's in an interview with like a talent manager, I guess, or like someone who's making a movie.
Oh yeah,
he's like auditioning for a part. It doesn't go well.
No,
Nick Cage is really weird and forceful about it.
He's like, man, no, I really want to be a part of this movie.
It's so good, and the guy's like, yeah, all right, you're sucking my dick a little bit too hard here.
I'll put you on the list, like I'll let you know, and then he forces him to listen to him reenact the lines.
Yeah, which, God, the lines about how like
it takes 13 milliseconds for your brain to send a signal to your body. So if you pull that trigger, before your butthole has a chance to pucker, I'll fill you with lead.
That's the line. That's the actual line. It specifically mentions your asshole clenching or something. And it's if you shoot me, I'll have time to kill you before I'm gone.
And if I die, it'd be worth it.
It'll be so cool if I died that way. And he reads the line. The guy's like, all right, sick. So then he goes home. And Nicolas Cage is divorced, so he goes to not his real home.
He goes to his ex-wife's house to see his daughter.
Yes,
who is doing teen stuff, teen girls in movies.
I think they go to therapy next.
Really?
Is it just a direct cut to therapy? That's the first time we see his daughter is in therapy. So I feel like it's hard to...
Yeah, no, they're in therapy and then they come back to the house.
This movie's hard to keep track of.
Because it's really weird. It's like...
It's really fast. It's a fast movie.
Very fast. All the transitions are pretty smooth.
Like...
the cinematography about that, like the transitions are clean, bro.
Yeah, they're the cinematography in this is not like mind-blowing, but it is like noticeably good.
Yeah, it's well done.
It's good enough that you would notice it and be like, oh, that was pretty good. Yeah. That's a pretty good shot right there. Okay.
There's a scene you were gushing over, the mirror scene. They have like both of the characters, Nick Cage and then random guy we'll get to in a sec.
We'll get to him. He's important.
They're both perfectly in the scene, talking back and forth to each other while looking through the mirror. It's well done. There's a chase scene where the car goes by a car, and then they pan to the rearview mirror of the car, and the chase scene's still happening.
Yeah, it's pretty
really,
good.
Really pretty. But they go to therapy, and then they come out and go to the ex-wife's house. And he's talking
in therapy. Basically, most of what these scenes have to do is that Nick Cage is like a weird grumblo. He's just like a mean. He's not really mean. He's just
self-obsessed. I feel like is a better word for it.
He's very narcissistic in this movie. This is when it becomes clear that this movie is a lot more self-aware than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
like this movie is very critical of Nick Cage, despite the fact that he made it about himself.
Yeah,
it's weirdly like they're. Which is what puts the dick sucking into perspective.
Yeah, it's right? Like he's sucking his own dick, but he's doing it too much, and everyone's aware of it.
Yeah,
even him.
There's very clearly a deliberate contrast between like the actual dysfunctional person that the character of Nick Cage is, compared to like the reputation he's built. And like people are like, oh my god, that's Nick Cage, but he's actually just like this weird fucking loser who like forces his daughter to watch weird movies that she doesn't care about.
Yeah,
and general like you're kind of classic. Oh, I wasn't there for my family. I was too worried about my career. I'm kind of a little grumpy fucking person.
It's kind of like the business dad trope of like, oh yeah, well, I was always so invested in my work, I couldn't have time for my kids.
Yeah, but better because it's Nick Cage.
Yeah. The wife, Olivia, says a line after therapy that I feel like is pretty good. She says something about like, oh my god, our 16-year-old daughter didn't like a 100-year-old German film? That's crazy.
That's insane.
She's a Philistine. We should kill her. Like,
yeah, it was really good. And that's a great point that like, this was where I really started noticing that this movie is like, okay, wait, no, this is good. Because, like, the dialogue in this movie is, like, really snappy and funny. This movie, whereas Con Air is funny as like an irony thing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who's in the writer's room is aware of how funny it is.
Yeah, but this movie is funny as intended.
Yeah.
Like, I was laughing with this movie, not at it.
Yeah.
This movie is just a funny movie.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the good Nick Cage films, I'd say.
This is for sure a good one.
I'd say it makes the cut.
Okay, so he goes to he's like, oh shit, I gotta go do more movie career stuff, and she's like, you better be here for your daughter's birthday party, and he's like, you got it.
I'll for sure be
and
here.
As soon as he said that, I was like, he's gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, no, he's gonna miss
and
that.
He does
somehow.
hardcore. But he goes to hang out with Neil Patrick Harris, his agent.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris plays his agent Fink, and I already flippin' love Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really get too big of a role in this. He more just is kind of like, oh, yep, I got this new idea for you. You want to perform at a birthday party?
And he was like, fuck you for saying
I'm
that.
a serious actor.
I'm a fucking artist. I'm not gonna perform like a stage animal.
A trained seal? A
Yeah,
clown?
fuck you. I'm not gonna be a Gamzee for your entertainment. So he tells him to fuck off.
Nick Cage is a real Gamzee type character.
And then Nick Cage comes back and he's missed most of the birthday party, but he gets there just in time for cake. The problem, he just gets the call, and the role from the beginning of the movie, he's been rejected, and so he's all sad, and he's a sad boy.
He's heartbroken.
So he gets fucking wasted at his daughter's birthday party. And this scene is like physically painful to watch.
The most cringe.
In the way that was intended.
Mm-hmm.
This was like,
they wanted you to see him be a fuck up.
this is like him at his daughter's birthday party. She's having a good time, and he's wasted as shit. And then he goes over to the piano, and he does this weird long like story about, oh, she was my little daughter, and we hung out one time, and I miss it. And then he starts banging on the piano, and then he very pointedly like turns it back on himself about how like, you know, this world fucking doesn't recognize talent. Like this movie is very critical of Nick Cage in this movie. He's exclusively portrayed as like a piece of shit.
Yeah, just an absolute schmuck. And I love that like there's a moment in the birthday party where he makes his presence known. Like he was just sitting in the back having his drink, and then he's like, you know what? This isn't about me enough. Hey everybody!
Yeah, exactly.
Come to the piano. I'm gonna play a song.
Let's change the focus to me at my daughter's 16th birthday.
And he plays not a good song.
No, not at all.
The song is just terrible. He thumbs through like a couple of notes and just kind of sings her name.
So this movie is very clearly setting itself up to be like a character-driven like narrative.
Yeah, real character piece.
Yeah, it's a real character piece of Nick Cage, and it's like the he's driving around and he has his ghost buddy.
Oh god, we almost forgot about Ghost Cage.
This movie is fucking insane. Okay, Ghost Brain Cage. It's just like Dirk, basically.
Yeah,
it's just like Dirk Brain Ghosts. But he has a Nicolas Cage in his head.
And instead of, imagine how AR and Ghost Dirk kind of just like bully the other characters into being like, hey, you gotta get your shit together. It kind of is like a Dirk AR situation, actually. Where they're constantly like, hey, you need to get your shit together, bro.
We
like, we gotta focus on
Lil
this.
Hal now. Sorry for dead naming Lil Hal. That's on us.
Put some respect on my man's name.
For sure. That's my bad.
But he really Little Hal's. So there's a younger, like leather bound, like super badass looking Nick Cage that is this figment of his imagination, which I think is supposed to embody like his views, the part of his brain that wants him to be just an amazing actor.
Yeah,
and
it's
fuck everything else.
It's not even an amazing actor. I don't think that's true. It's the part of his brain that wants fame and success.
Yeah,
it's not even about the art. Like there's a conversation later.
Yeah,
where like no, it's essentially representing the side of himself that is exclusively hungry for like power.
Yeah,
and fame and money and everyone will know your fucking name. Your name will be on posters across the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that version of him is honestly one of my favorites. Oh yeah, but he's constantly trying to like kick him in the pants, like, hey, get your shit together. We need to be famous and like get money, get that bag and shit. And every time he like would punch him and break the wall of like, oh, I'm gonna actually make physical contact with this human.
What's noticeable is it's always in ways that would make his life worse. It's whenever Nick Cage comes to a realization about how he needs to change himself to like be better, because like after that whole birthday thing,
then
he goes And he has a conversation with his ex-wife, and she's like, "You need to get your shit together, bro."
Yeah, you are.
And he's
fucked.
like, "All right, I'm done. I'm gonna retire from acting, and then once I'm retired, I can spend time with my family. And like, I can be with my daughter. She needs, someone.
Be the dad I wasn't when I was famous."
And then there's this big conversation he has with his brain ghost. Mm-hmm. And the brain ghost is like, "That's you're gonna fucking ruin everything, like I'm." And it's constantly that same shit. Like, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
I want us to be famous and successful, and that's what you want, right?
Yeah, that's what you want. Literally, like, gaslights him back into like shit. It's very interesting. And he specifically is like using his own wants against him. The idea, like, I need to quit acting so I can like really be a good father for my kid. And then he's like, no. To be a good father, you should be famous. Your child deserves a star for a dad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Trying to conflate these two wants and desires as if they're immediately related like that.
So I forget why, but it's at some point he goes on a trip. Is this the birthday party?
Oh no, I think after Little Cage talks him into like going back and pursuing the arts. I think after that he accepts the deal of like the birthday party of like, oh yeah, I'll be a trained SEAL, whatever, and that's when he goes on the trip to
so he goes on the trip overseas to Spain, I guess.
Spain, I think, somewhere in there.
It's either that or like Brazil. It's a Spanish speaking country.
Yeah.
Or not Brazil. Fuck, I don't know. Brazil speaks Portuguese, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know. He goes to a Spanish speaking country. It might be Mexico. It might be Spain. Mm-hmm. Not sure. And he's hanging out with this like super rich guy who, again, absolutely fucking loves Nicolas Cage.
He is his biggest fan.
Yeah, oh my goodness, he loves Nick Cage and so much, and his name is Javi.
He's best boy of this film.
Javi is the best boy of this film, and I love him. I was really hoping that there would be a gay romance between Javi and Nicolas Cage in this movie, but unfortunately there was not.
Yeah, they just kind of teased it. It ended up being a bromance, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, I'll take what I can get for sure. This is a real Dave Cat situation here. I'll go to sleep tonight and I'll dream of a better timeline where Javi and Nicolas Cage kiss.
Yeah, they live off in the mountains together.
It would be beautiful.
But yeah, he meets Javi, and their first interaction, I think, is pretty humorous. He doesn't actually know that Javi is the rich man he's going to be working for, and he thinks that he's just like some hired help or something.
Yeah.
And he treats him as such. He's like, "Hey man," his Neil Patrick Harris puts an idea in his head, and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't want anything weird to happen." And he talks to him. He's like, "Hey yo, if he wants me to fuck him or like fuck his wife or like fuck his wife and have me watch or like whatever, any of that stuff, that's a no-go.
That's all. It's not gonna happen."
And he's like, "Actually, I'm Javi, and I wasn't asking for any of that, but okay."
But super fair.
Like, I hear you. And that's how they kind of start their bromance. And at first, Nick Cage really like hesitant.
He just does not care. He doesn't really want to be here. He's so fucking done. He has this weird like existential moment where they're like, "Oh my god, I love you, Nick Cage. I love all your movies." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not acting anymore." And they're like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Yep, we're all gonna die, and nothing matters, and everything is horrible." It's like, oh my goodness, Nick.
And then he walks,
you gotta cool it, buddy,
into the deep end of this pool and just sits at the bottom drinking a beer as he descends.
But you know what? It's all right, because Javi is the force for good that Nick Cage needs to turn his life around.
Yes.
And Javi and him start talking about movies, and it's genuinely great.
Yeah, their shared passion of film.
Yeah, and like Javi and Cage have such good like chemistry on screen. Like their characters work really well together. They're super entertaining to watch. I got like really invested in their friendship. And they're talking about movies, and they watch Paddington 2 and cry over its beauty. Oh.
He was like, "What's your third favorite film
of all
Paddington
time?"
2.
Yeah, and it's like Nick Cage like lambasting him for having this like really shit like uncultured opinion, and then it's just a direct cut to them watching the end of Paddington 2
and
and
just
Nick
crying.
Yeah, just crying his eyes out.
Man.
It's beautiful. God. Oh my god, I forgot to mention that when the girl is being kidnapped in the beginning, they're playing How Do I Live?
Yes,
I completely forgot.
That scene in the movie is happening.
She gets like pistol whipped in the fucking face and is playing How Do I Live? Fucking great. Anyway, so he and Javi are hitting it off. They're having a great time. And then Nick Cage gets inducted into working for the CIA.
Yeah.
It's about that sudden. He's working for B-list comedy actor and that one lady who allegedly molested children.
Mm-hmm.
It's those two. They're the CIA. And they're here to say, Nick Cage, you gotta fucking kill this Javi guy.
We have not been able to get close to him. We know you're American. We need you to break into his facility because he's holding a girl there.
And so the reveal is we're moving into the second act of the movie, and Javi's revealed to be the head of a criminal organization, the real Sindino of this movie, if you will. And he's going to. He has the girl kidnapped because she's the daughter of the president, and the president of Spain or whatever. We don't want that. He doesn't like cartels.
Yeah, he's gonna try to stop my illegal arms.
Yes. So I've kidnapped his daughter to blackmail him to back out of the race to put in instead someone who is more cartel friendly.
Yeah.
Who's just really vibing with the idea of cartels.
And the U.S. does not fuck with that.
No.
So they send in the CIA.
The CIA is there to put in a puppet regime or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now the second act of this movie is very weird.
Yeah.
And it starts being weird, and it's like noticeably weird, and then something happens that changes my mind on it a lot. But like, the conflict is now here, where the movie feels like a big tug of war between like being that like small scale character driven story and also being like a spy thriller, like a James Bond
action heisty type deal.
Yeah, but even during that, it's Nick fucking Cage who's an actor, so he just fucks everything up immediately.
Yeah, like
they give him a Bond gadget that
that
knocks people out, and he like wipes his own forehead with it by accident.
That was
and,
hilarious.
Knocks himself out. That was so fucking funny.
It was like some sort of like skin contact sedative, and he touches his forehead because he's sweating, and he's like, "Oh, guys, I just touched myself."
I just touched my forehead, and they're like, "Oh, god damn it!"
Oh no.
So there's just like this whole scene of him trying to like deal with climbing around to get the antidote before he falls asleep and shit,
while also dodging an armed guard, and it's a really funny moment.
It's a really funny scene. It's really fucking good, and he's just like slowly losing his limbs. It's a great scene.
After which they were saying that the CIA tells him that, yeah, we're going to need you to spend way more time in here. We're going to need you to be here for much longer, if you could, so we can find out where exactly this girl is. And
he's like, absolutely fucking not.
I'm not doing
that.
No
way.
I almost died.
And then the lady who allegedly molested children is like, don't you understand? Actually, the subject matter here is a little bit the coincidence. Don't you? They've kidnapped your. What if they kidnapped your daughter? Wouldn't that make you feel bad? And then Nick Cage is like, shit.
Yeah, they guilt him into it really hard.
Yeah,
they're like, you wouldn't forgive yourself. That's a regret that would live with you for the rest of your life.
So he's like, you know what? I gotta find up an excuse to stay on the island with Javi, and he promises to make a movie with Javi.
Yeah, Javi already tried to send him a screenplay, which he didn't like. Neil Patrick Harris kept it from him because I feel like if you get a screenplay from just some random guy as an agent, you're supposed to just throw them in the trash.
Yeah, that's super fair. Super fair from Neil Patrick Harris.
But as they bond, he reads his screenplay and he's like, I don't like it, but we should work together on a movie and we'll spend like for however long that'll take here. Yeah.
So there you go.
That's how how he extends his stay.
Oh my god, and I forgot that they have Javi has a whole speech where he's like, you know, my fucking relationship with my dad was destroyed and ruined. Everything was terrible.
Sad.
And then my dad got a terminal illness, and I just wanted to repair my relationship with my dad. But then I watched a Nicolas Cage movie, and we both loved it so much that it fixed our entire parental-child relationship.
Yes, it made us great friends because we didn't have anything in common except our one bond for the love of Nick Cage.
Yes, thank you for saving my relationship with my father before he died.
Thanks him personally.
Yeah, thank you, Nick Cage. You did this. And Nick Cage is like, okay,
all right,
that's super great. So they agree to make the movie, and what follows is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah,
I like this scene a lot.
Is that where they do acid?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, Javi's trying. He says we're gonna need to be more creative if we're gonna do this. So I got a little bit of inspiration for us.
Yes.
LSD.
It's time to do LSD. And so they take LSD and go on a whole ass fucking drug trip.
Yeah, man.
That's not the good part. That's just kind of like I mean, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Normally, I feel like doing like a big drug scene is just kind of a cop out. Like,
Yeah, you were just
instant
trying
comedy.
to fill space.
Yeah,
and you
but in
wanted it
this
to be
movie,
funny.
they do it in a way that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, something about this also, while they're on this drug trip, first they drive, which is fucking wild.
Horribly dangerous.
Very next to a very steep cliff. I don't know what they were doing. But they're driving, having a great time, and as they're working on this movie, we start to realize that the movie they're working on is the movie we are currently watching, which is Massive Talent. Sorry, Nick Cage is Nick Cage.
It's they literally start describing like, oh, what if we make our movie like you know, what we're doing right now?
Yeah, a character piece on these two dudes that have like a great bond, and then what if we have this crazy drug scene where like
it's when that line hits that you're like, oh, I see what you're doing. Right.
What if we have this like almost like paranoia moment, and as they talk about that idea, they're like those two guys over there,
and then
they're following us,
and then they have a massive like paranoia scene in the movie following that conversation because they're just like completely insane and on drugs.
Yeah, they're like out of their gourd.
They start trying to run away, and then they just start. I forgot.
Yeah, the
Javi like
never
turns,
let go.
No, Javi like turns to face them and tries to like laugh naturally.
He's like, laugh. We'll like it'll play it off, and he just turns and looks at the two dudes,
looks at them directly at them, and does like the most unnatural like like directly at their face. And it's like they're looking back at us. They're watching us.
And then he's like, all right, let's run on 3. 1.
Yeah, then they go, and so they hit like a wall. And they do a whole ass fucking like, go on without me, I'll do it. And it's if the performances weren't as good, I feel like I would have guessed the punchline. The punchline is like, why didn't we just go around it? You know what I mean? But it's because the performances here are fucking incredible and hilarious that you don't even have time to think about it.
They immediately turn from goofy dudes scared because they're too high to action movie heroes
like the most
oh my
dramatic
god
thing you've ever fucking seen.
I'll never let go. The thing that kills me is
grab my fucking hand, soldier.
It's like it's like a 10-foot wall. Like
it's not big at
like
all.
it's like up there, but it's not crazy. Like
but if something happened to you, I'd never forgive myself. Just go. You have to leave. It's so fucking good.
And he drops him, and he's just standing there.
And like Nick Cage starts like breaking down and crying, and then like Javi's face like peeks around over the side of the wall, and then like he stops. He's just like, "Oh,
we could have just
hey."
like
he's like, "Hey."
Apparently, we could have just walked
and then
around.
they turn, and the people are there anyway.
That was weird.
That was
actually,
a weird fucking moment.
Is apparently these dudes that they pretended were chasing them ended up just moving to the same place they ended up being at.
The atmosphere of this movie is so fucking strange, and it was. I hit the nail on it while we were watching the movie. Like this movie feels like Nick Cage's Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
Just like a weird, like surrealist comedy movie that he just wanted to make, I guess.
Yeah, just cause.
Yeah, just like because he can, and because he's Nick Cage and he has clout.
Mm-hmm.
Like so fair, King. Honestly.
Yeah, go off. I enjoyed it.
It's like when Urobuchi Gen, you know, like everyone loves all of his writing, like fucking Madoka Magica, and so then he went off to do like a weird like puppet show thing.
Yeah,
good for him, honestly.
Like, you do what makes you happy.
That's just using like how famous you are to do whatever the fuck you want,
and
like, I'm all for it.
I support it.
Okay, so then they're driving on acid again, and then they try to like escape, and Nick Cage drives while on acid, and this time he's just fucking hitting a bunch of shit.
And I love this. So Javi is the Nick Cage super fan in this universe.
Yes, for sure.
I imagine in this universe there is no one who loves Nick Cage more other than himself.
It's definitely Javi.
And
I think Javi likes Nick Cage more than Nick Cage likes Nick Cage.
Yeah, because all his love seems like almost out of cynicism. So anytime there's like a situation like Javi hops in the car and he's like, I can't drive on acid, and Nick Cage's like, well, I can't drive on acid. He's like, no, but you're a better driver than me, because
you did all
at
your
this
own
one
stunts in
movie
this
you
one
did
movie.
your like he can call the exact like moments that you did your own stunts.
It's really fucking funny.
And he's like, all right, fine, and he talks him into it, and he drives,
and then he
immediately.
immediately like crashes into a bunch of shit. So then they go back, and Javi gets knocked out. So then the CIA, oh my god, there's that great scene where the fucking CIA texts him on iMessage.
Oh, yes.
And is like, did you find the kidnapped girl yet? And Nick Cage says, not yet. I'm on acid. Like, what the fuck?
They're just like, what?
So
why
anyway,
are you on acid?
The CIA, now that Javi's knocked out, like, directs him to this building. And they're like, she's in there, maybe. And then Javi wakes up and he's like, do you want me to let you in there? Because what if you go in there, like, it might change the way you feel about me. They're playing up that, like, the girl's gonna be in there.
Yeah.
It's a Nick Cage shrine.
Yes. Once we finally get into this very heavily guarded room with mirrored walls and, like, super thick doors. I don't know if you saw it, but that wall was, like,
no, that was
really
a super thick wall, yeah.
But he goes in and it's just a Nick Cage shrine. Like, just a bunch of shit from his famous movies. And the bunny from Homestuck.
The fucking Con Air bunny is in there, and Nick Cage points to it and says, put the bunny back in the box. It's an incredible fucking moment. Me and E.T. both popped the fuck off as soon as that happened. It was incredible.
But oh my god, it was great. And he finds this statue that Javi had made for him of from one of his famous movies.
I forgot which one it was. I don't
too.
remember. He has those like golden pistols.
Yeah, he's got twin golden pistols, and he had them custom made just for that statue.
Yeah, like shitty like wax statue that like only kind of looks like Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm. He sees it and he's like, "This is disturbing.
This is horrible. I will buy it from you for $20,000." And Javi's like, "Fuck you! It's not for sale.
This is
sentimental
mine.
to me.
It's too important."
Yeah, this means more to me than my own children." Fuck! What happens after that?
They go in.
Oh, it's that scene with alleged lady, and him, and they're sitting there, and she's like, "You can't fucking."
Oh yeah, they're sitting.
You didn't
somewhere.
do the thing, and then Nick Cage is like, "Oh, but Javi's so good at writing scripts and whatever.
Yeah,
it's beautiful."
I don't even think he's the guy. Really, I still think you got the wrong guy.
And then she sells him on, like, including a kidnapping plot point in their movie.
Yeah, so that he can figure out what Javi would think for hiding a kidnapped person.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that feels contrived. And in that moment, they kind of have this meta conversation almost about how, oh, yeah, well, we would, if we put this random kidnapping scene, it'll feel just forced and out of nowhere. And she's like, well, it'll give you, like, mainstream appeal and, like, mass marketing and shit. And he's like...
I like this conversation a lot, and it's very clear that the entire second act has been building up to this point.
Yeah.
Because the entire second act has felt super forced between, like, these character side of things and, like, you know, your action kidnapping movie side of things.
Yeah.
And, like, the entire tone is different for all the different scenes. It's completely different, and they clash pretty badly. And it's very clearly that it was working up to this conversation. And this is how you lampshade right.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the Dance Sisters last time, and how the Dance Sisters are just shit and annoying and unfunny and terrible. Mm-hmm. And then Carcat's like, man, those guys are shit and annoying and unfunny and terrible. Right?
And we're just supposed to be like, yeah, Carcat, we agree.
We know. Holy shit. Whereas this is using it to, like, make a point. It's like the idea of mass appeal, like, corrupting an artistic vision in order to, like, chase... It's like a fucking YouTuber algorithm chasing as opposed to like what they want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that idea.
That part of you that like is like, oh well, we'll sell more things if we do add these like baity, like trying to gather clout chasing like elements to it. But at the same time, we lose the original image of what we were trying to create.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back into the original dichotomy we were talking about before, with Brain Ghost Nick.
Yeah.
So I like this. I like this a lot. It turns.
It builds off of each other really well. Like I feel like at no point were they not trying to lead to this, and that's nice.
And it is really nice. This does not actually feel that out of nowhere, especially after that scene where like Javi and him are discussing the movie and it's their movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Anyway, and then they go home.
Yeah, that's when the gun shooting range happens.
They're doing like a shooting range thing, and then he's like, Javi, how about we do like the kidnapping thing? And Javi's like, fuck, he sucks and I hate it.
That's dumb.
That's dumb and stupid, and I know why you're asking about it. And you're like, oh, does he know? Does he know that Nick Cage is a CIA man? And he's like, you're just feel bad about how you've treated your daughter.
Yeah, this is guilt that's making you make bad movie choices.
Yeah, like, and Nick Cage is like, yep, 100%, for sure,
1000%.
That's what it is. Absolutely.
Nothing else could possibly be it. You're so right.
So Javi, with no warning, lies to his family, tells them that he is so sick he can barely talk, and then he flies them out, and they're like, oh my god, is my fucking dad dying of a terminal illness? And he's like, no, he's just like sad.
He's dying creatively. Like, I don't even think this was a like lie for Javi. I think this was Javi being completely legit. That like,
Yeah, I think.
oh, he's sick.
Javi
like,
is not
yeah.
joking in any point in this. Like, he didn't lie at all. Like, Javi's 100% serious.
Yeah, to him, this is just as big as if he were terminally ill.
Yeah, he's like, this is a horrible thing that has happened here. We need to fix it. We need to figure out how to fix it.
And I need you here now.
This is a horrible tragedy. We can't lose the brilliant creative mind of Nicolas Cage.
And there's a moment in this where Nick Cage is whispering to Javi, he's like, man, don't bring my family into this. Because he still believes that Javi's like found him out and knows about all the CIA and like espionage shit. And Javi's like, no, you need to face this. This is important. I can't.
Yeah, this is important for your development as a character, Nicolas Cage.
And Javi the whole time has no idea why Nick Cage is being so sus, but he doesn't click any bells for him because he loves Nick Cage too much.
It's so good. And then Nick Cage tries to have like a talk with his family about like, don't you see, I always had my face in a movie, and his family's like, dog, we know you're bullshitting us. Like, you don't. This is cringe. This is lame.
This is you lying, and we know it.
Yeah. And the idea is, it's not about, just the work. It's the idea that like you're entirely in your own world. The spending too much time at work is a symptom of that. That's not the problem.
That's not the issue. Yeah.
The problem is that you're expecting me to be exactly like you, and you're expecting everyone to conform to your interests, and you're too shitty of a parent to like even be able to see that. That's like a big part of it as well. He's like, I was really trying, and she's like, I know you were. That's the worst part. The problem is that this is you genuinely trying to be a good parent, and like you're so fucking narcissistic that you can't even like see that you are not the ideal model for every human being.
Yeah. He's like, no, I just wanted to show you these things. Like,
me
these things
being
are
you is not
me.
The best me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that exactly. Yeah. Like, I want to show you all these things that are like important to me, and I just want to like connect with you. But from on their perspective, you also didn't give them anything. Like, you're not seeing their part of the world.
Yeah.
You're not sharing these moments with them. You're just kind of wanting them to be like, oh, that's a great thing, and I agree with you completely.
Exactly. It's a pretty great scene. And then, God, I'm trying to think about how we don't even really transition to it. It just kind of happens. Javi gets a call, and he's got to leave.
He's got a visitor. And he walks out, and it's his cousin, who I don't believe we've met yet.
No, he was in one scene. He was in the scene
at the pool. Yeah, he was there for that. Okay, yeah.
So we've seen him once.
What? Yeah, I forgot. I thought those were two different guys. But we see his cousin Luca, who who tells him, yeah, your friend Nick Cage is actually working for the CIA and trying to put a stomp on all my super illegal shit.
I am the big crime boy who kidnapped the girl.
Yeah, this is that big villain
Javi
reveal.
Was genuinely completely blameless in this entirely.
Completely unaware that this is going on. I mean, I guess he's like allowing
He kind of generally knew that his brother was like into crime in general.
Yeah. Like his father was into it, and his cousin or whatever picked up the head of the family after that.
Yeah, but he didn't really know any specifics, and he definitely didn't know about kidnapping shit.
Yeah,
so then his brother's like, Nicolas Cage is a CIA guy, and you knew about it. And he's like, no, I didn't.
What are you talking about?
I promise I didn't know. And he's like, you're such good friends, you have to know. So here's the ultimatum: I will kill you, or you have to kill Nicolas Cage. At the same time, Nicolas Cage is talking with everyone's favorite alleged child molester, and she says, you have to kill Javi, or else he might do something bad to your family. It's bad.
You brought your whole family here? That's
for 100% transparency. This movie came out before she was revealed as an alleged child molester.
Yeah, before all that bad stuff happened.
Just don't worry. It's not the movie's fault. They didn't know. They didn't know. Anyway, Nicolas Cage is like, okay, I have to kill him now.
But yeah, I really like this moment because we finally have all the pieces. Like, we know that Javi isn't the guy that Nicolas Cage and his organization are looking for. And we know that Nicolas Cage is about to make serious murderous moves against our man.
And Javi's also about to make serious murderous moves. So now these two best boys are coming together.
And that's the thing, like they've grown for you to like love their bond.
friendship, yeah.
Like the whole time they're like putting it as like the center spotlight.
Even though even like as they're going up to kill each other, they're like, we have to go out to the cliffs, let's go hang out, right?
Yeah.
And both of them are planning to kill the other one.
Yeah.
But even then they're still like having fun, friendly conversation, like, oh, those shoes look great on you. And then they like switch shoes.
They switch shoes, yeah.
And that's really funny. Oh, it's so the whole time you're just like, oh, I don't want them to...
I really don't want this to happen.
Oh, they're so fun together. I don't want this to happen to them.
Until they pull guns on each other.
They pull guns on each other. And Nicolas Cage pulls out the replica golden guns from the cabinet.
He's got the golden guns.
And so they're talking to each other. They're like, I don't want to fucking kill you. I don't want to do this.
And they're both equally just like, I also don't want to do this.
And then Javi's like, you're here. I'm not the fucking guy. And Nick Cage is like, really? I thought you were the guy. They told me you were the guy. And he's like, no, I'm the face of it. But like, my brother's the one that does everything.
I'm supposed to look like the guy.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, shit. Which means that, oh my god, earlier on in the movie, Nick Cage was like, I don't think Javi's the guy. And then the CIA was like, of course he's the fucking guy. We have 5 years of hard data telling us he's the guy. But Nick Cage was right.
I love Nick Cage's response to that, which is, oh, well, I'm an actor. So when you think about, like...
As a thespian, I understand.
I understand people's character, and, like, I can really understand people on that level. And
he was 100% right.
He was completely on the money,
so they're both just kind of like, I do not want to kill you. And they're like, I also don't want to kill you. But, like, they won't put down the guns. Mm-hmm. And so... Then fucking Javi's cousin shows up and starts shooting at him, and that kind of forces them to like, all right, let's go, let's run.
now we got to work together against this united force.
And they're still wearing each other's shoes, so there's some like really fun banter about like fucking your shoes have no ankle support.
No ankle support.
Like, fuck you.
They have a whole conversation, and Javi has one of those nerd moments again of like, oh no, I know you did your own stunts for this one other movie, so I know you're faster than me. I saw you in like Con Air or some shit.
I don't know. It was probably Con Air, yeah. And so they run and they get in a Jeep, and then there's like a motorcycle chase scene, and at this point, we've moved into the third act here. And like before they go out to kill each other, they literally say like, we need to work on the movie, we need to figure out what we're going to do for the third act. And it's like that is the transition in the third act, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, no, that was a good
and it's very clear that this movie, at this point, this movie starts to become just like bog standard action movie.
Yeah. This is like in the beginning, character piece led it, and I believe now in the closing, action movie led it. And that's kind of like the majority of what the film is. Yeah,
like the entire tone and delivery of lines and stuff is shit. That's what makes me feel like it's very purposeful.
Yeah.
Is that like the way characters talk to each other is completely different in the third act of the movie. It's all like weird ass pulls and like generic trope dialogue. It's very clearly purposeful about like our movie is morphed into an action movie for like mainstream success.
Yeah, like we need this to put butts in seats, but
if I haven't seen trailers for this movie, but I guarantee that action movie shit's in the trailer, which is like a point of the movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a moment where Nick Cage, I think it's like when they're shooting ducks, and he's like, oh yeah, we just need. Yeah, it's right after the Tiffany Haddish conversation. He's like, yeah, we need a scene for, like, the trailer or some shit. And I believe the scene of him, like, pulling that shotgun and shooting that, like, clay pigeon.
That's fucking great.
Is in the trailer.
Man, it's... This movie's good.
Yeah,
this movie's good. And
I
this
really
is, again, like
it.
I said, like, this movie is very clearly, like, parody and critique on a way that, like, your normal, like, a lampshading that I get annoyed at is not. Like, this movie is pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
So they do a chase scene, and... Fuck, I like this part of the movie is like a blur. I barely even remember what's going on at this point.
Yeah, because I think the character pieces were like the more pressing moments. Like those are like very like iconic in my mind.
Yeah,
like all of them goofing
I love
around and
like
talking to
Nick
each other.
and Javi just as characters in the movie. So like a lot of the weird action movie shit just completely falls behind, which I think just proves the point even further.
But in their Jeep, they disarm and discombobulate the two motorcycle
and one of the guys like drops a knife in the car, and that's very important.
Yeah, we have Chekhov's knife. As they point the camera to it and then pull away as they drive off.
So they make it back to the house, but then we find out that the cousin kidnapped Nicolas Cage's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is bad. We don't like that. So now Nick Cage and Javi and his ex-wife and the maid lady that Javi wants to fuck.
I think she's his head of agriculture.
I don't remember. She's there and she's like a secretary or something.
Yeah, she didn't do anything, but she's there.
She's doing some shit and she's also there now all of a sudden. And she's like given more importance just for the third act of the movie. She's had like 3 speaking lines up until this point.
I think they had to put her in there because Javi has a line, I think in the standoff, where he's like, oh yeah, I love Gabriella or whatever her name is. I just can't marry her because I would put a target on her back. And he's like, wait, you like her?
And that was when my hopes for a gay romance between them were dashed
shattered.
on the ground.
Yeah,
like
in
the
that
10
moment.
Commandments by Moses. Oh, it was horrifying. So then okay. So now they're trying to figure out how to save their daughter.
Yeah.
And they just do an insane ass pull of like, my cousin is going to make a deal with another criminal guy.
Yeah.
And so we can use your wife, who is a makeup artist on a movie, to turn you into that guy.
Yeah.
And then you as an actor can play that guy. It's just, it's fucking ridiculous. It is the most like third act action movie ass pull thing of all time. And that's what makes it great.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like, they set all those things up. Like,
if this was no, they didn't. A lot of it they didn't.
Because they bring up the makeup thing when Javi asks about his wife.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I met her because she was like a makeup artist that I thought was cute and funny and smart. And then
but shit, like, where did she get the supplies to do all of that? Right?
Yeah.
No, this is a complete ass pull for the third act. And if it was in any other movie, I would hate it. But because it's in this movie and I understand the creative intent behind it, I love it. And then they sneak into the thing, and the cousin is so generic.
Yeah.
In a way that is like perfect
he's just
for what they're doing
guy.
Here. Yeah, he's like most generic. Like, I'm bad guy, but I'm kind of like crazy. Also, he's the guy from Far Cry 3.
Yes,
he's the Far Cry 3 guy.
Yeah, he has big Voss energy. I think.
Yeah, is that his name, Voss? He's the meme about the definition of insanity.
Yeah, he's the
insanity
that guy.
So they sneak in to try and get the kids.
Oh, but in a nicer suit. His suit is clean.
His suit is crazy good. It's a really good fucking... He's got drip, for sure. He's got drip. So they go and... Fuck.
They go and fuck?
Oh my god, I wish. So they sneak in. And they don't sneak in, they go talk to him, and now they're like sneaking around. And they find the daughter and them just like in a room in the basement, I guess.
Where he was also at.
where bad guy is also there. And so then Nick Cage holds that guy at gunpoint and is like, don't you see I'm a Nick Cage.
I'm motherfucking Nick Cage.
Yeah, he like actually says that. It's great.
And he points the gun at him. And then I think he's disarmed.
Wife takes the kidnapped children and runs away.
Yeah. And
Javi's on his way to try and help out. And so they run and get into the Jeep. But then there's another guy there who's trying to whatever.
He's like Luca's bodyguard, and he carries an AK-47 and just points it at him and is like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's another like generic action movie trope man.
And then a secretary
Henchman
lady.
Man.
Henchman 1 is he points his gun at him.
He enters stage right and he has his gun and he's like, I'm gonna fucking shoot you or whatever. So Nick Cage is there. And now he gets disarmed. And so now Cousin Man is pointing the gun at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to kill you. Any last words, Nick Cage? And then he quotes the line from the line read at the beginning of the movie where he's like, even if you kill me, I'll have enough time to shoot you or whatever.
I'll have 11 milliseconds to pucker your butthole with you.
Something like that. And then he grabs the gun and he starts shooting guys. And then Javi shows up and he starts shooting guys. Yeah. And then they just leave. They leave Cousin Man alive.
They shoot them all in non-fatal places and then leave.
Yeah, and then leave. And Cousin Man is still there, and Javi like looks at him, and then they leave. And it's like, I think Javi would have killed him.
I think that would have been the best option.
Yeah, but no, they just leave him there. Don't give me none of this like fucking... Javi wouldn't want to kill his cousin. Because later on, Javi is like, I'm going to kill my cousin. It's so Javi should have just killed him there.
Like, if he was willing to do so.
For sure.
But,
So then they make it back to the car just in time to kill Henchman 1 before he can open fire.
High-speed chase number 2, I think. Yes, maybe 3.
It's time for... It's depends on if you count them all as one chase or not. I would say it's one chase. it's just one big chase.
Oh, I'm also counting the chase from Nobody when they were on acid.
Okay, then yes, this is the third chase scene. And so they're driving away, and then they do the action movie thing again, like they did on the wall, where Javi's like, "You gotta fucking leave me behind.
I'll take care of him. Slow him down."
And then Gabriella's like, "I will also get out and help." And now all of a sudden she's treated like a main character.
Yeah,
like she's given the same amount of like weight and screen time.
It was out of nowhere too, because like.
And then they just stand in the middle of the road and open fire at cars,
which is silly. There was for sure very clearly placed places for them to get into cover,
and they just don't.
And they just stand in the middle of the road firing at them.
It's just fucking hilarious. It's so funny. But, and like they start shooting cars, and cars are just like careening out of control. It's like, fuck you, that wouldn't happen.
Whoa!
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's great.
Oh man, yeah. They finally now it's a race for Nick Cage to outrun Luca, bad guy villain man, to the U.S. embassy so that they can be safe with all the government and shit. But he takes the Jeep and rams it through the front gate of the embassy. And Luca's right behind him and doesn't give two fucks as he pulls Nick Cage out of the car and points a gun at him in front of this embassy and is like, "I will blow his head off.
I'll fucking kill him." And then Chekhov's knife comes back.
Chekhov's knife.
And the daughter's like, "Here, Dad, take the knife." And she throws it to him and he grabs it and he turns around and stabs Cousin Man.
Stabs him up and he dies.
And then this fucking... I was expecting How Do I Live to play, but it didn't. I was sad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That is the only... You know what? 0 to 10. Shit movie.
Did it end in How Do I Live?
So then... Everyone except for Nick Cage all of a sudden is played by different actors.
Yeah.
And then the new daughter actor is like, "I love you, Dad," and then runs up and gives him a hug, and it's beautiful. And then it pans upward, and the American flag is perfectly in frame.
And then the camera pans to the inside of the screen and shows an audience of people watching the movie.
So what Javi was saying before, like, they made the movie. This is the movie that they made based off of the movie that we watched, which is the real version of events. I was worried they were going to pull and the movie you were watching was the movie they made. But no, it's like, we watched the real version of events, but we got to see a little bit of the movie that they actually did
after it, yeah.
And then it's all happy, and then he goes home and he hangs out with his family, and they reference Wicker Man. And then the movie ends, and Nick Cage is happy with his family.
Yeah, and they watch Paddington 2.
And they watch Paddington 2, and it's great, and really cheesy and stupid, and again, in a way that's purposeful. It's like the movie becomes shallower and shallower over the course of it. Yeah. Until by the end, it's like, all the loose ends are tied up, and we're all a happy family. Wins. Whereas before, the family drama between them was portrayed with a decent amount of nuance and realism. Yeah. And now it's like, Dad saved life, me like Dad.
Yeah,
yes, love Dad now.
Everybody's happy now.
Right?
I feel like the closest thing they come to with showing his growth in any way, post movie, is in the audience he finds Javi, who was so nervous he had to leave the theater while it was playing. And he's like, Javi's like, "Oh man, we have an interview with Vanity Fair. We gotta fucking go do this other thing, movie stuff, be famous." And Nick's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go watch Paddington 2 with my family.
Watch Paddington 2 with my ex-wife and my daughter."
That's where I really need to be right now. But you have fun.
You have fun, Javi.
And that's I feel like that's supposed to be his moment of in this moment he chose family instead of business. But I wonder how he was during the filming of this movie. Because after the events that we see, he goes and films a whole movie.
Exactly,
that seems to, I guess...
Which part is kind of what lends credence to the idea that this ending is very shallow and not... It's suffering from the same... It's third act. It's a third act ending.
Yeah.
Right? It's going for the same atmosphere as the rest of the third act has, of just being this shallow by the numbers thing. It's a parody. It's a very obvious parody of movie endings.
Mm-hmm. It's
and all was well, and they lived happily ever after. Despite the fact that early with the movie they were showing off these same issues with a lot more nuance and maturity.
Yeah, and I don't think that necessarily hurts the film too heavily. Especially since all this seems
I don't think it hurts the film. I think
act.
I think this was purposeful. I think this fits in with
the story they're trying to tell.
With like the ideas they're trying to communicate.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that as a criticism. That was 100% like what they were going for. That was very purposeful. And then the movie just ends.
Yeah, and then it just ends, yeah. They watch Paddington 2, and then they pan up.
So, like, this movie...
Oh, no, the last thing that happens is he says, Nick motherfucking Cage.
Yeah, he does say Nick motherfucking Cage again.
With little Cage.
So, yeah, that was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, man. That shit
This movie was, like, great.
I really enjoyed it.
I really liked it.
I had a good time
unironically. I mean, also partially ironically. Because, like, the novelty of Nick Cage playing himself is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that on its own. Like, they had me at Nicolas Cage playing Nick Cage.
Yeah, but this movie is very funny, as intended, and very good and very thought-provoking, genuinely.
Yeah.
In a way that is very surprising to me. I was not expecting that going in at all.
No, I was expecting a much worse movie.
I was expecting a significantly worse movie.
But, nah, it was...
I was expecting a train wreck, which is why I wanted to watch it.
But no, it was actually a pretty solid
was great,
piece of media, and I enjoyed it.
I'm very happy with it.
I thought it was really funny. I thought it was well shot.
Even after having the entire movie spoiled to shit, I still think you should go watch it.
Yes,
like,
if you didn't
we have not
listen...
captured like the snappiness of the dialogue and how funny it all is.
Yeah. If you didn't listen to us at the beginning and not listen to the spoilers if you haven't watched it, I'm hoping that after listening to us rant about it, you now will watch it because it was that good.
It's quite good.
It was worth us making this whole episode about it.
Yeah, I mean, he said before we started recording that he was going to take notes on it, and then he just didn't because he was too engrossed in the experience. It's fucking great.
It's a wild ride. You should take it.
That's it. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, I guess...
join us next week for more Homestuck, episode 21.
Whoa, is that Nicolas Cage playing Nick Cage?
It's Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God.
We saw in the movie. Holy shit, there he is. It's incredible. Nicolas Cage is here, and he just handed me a piece of paper.
Wait, what does that say?
It says, hey guys, it's me, Nicolas Cage. I'm a large fan of the GrubCast. I am going to support you on patreon.com/GrubCast. And I will also follow you on Twitter at TheGrubbyCast. And also join the Discord server, all linked down below. And I will also click on the SoundCloud link for Demon Girlfriend, who made the epic remix at the beginning of this episode. That will be super cool. I will also like and subscribe and also comment for the algorithm because I love you. It's me, Nicolas Cage. I love you all sexually.
I heard he's got a...
That's what it said. Thanks, Nick Cage. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's fucking go. Oh, he just jumped out the building like fucking action movie star.
That was badass.
Oh my god. Fucking it's here. The fucking cousin man is here. He's gonna shoot the building. The building's being ripped apart by fucking bullets.
It's because he heard we were talking to Nick Cage, so we must be CIA agents.
Oh my god. I hope we can get out of this situation through some mechanism involving an alleged child molester working for the CIA. I hope we can get out.
I hope we can figure this all out.
Oh my goodness.
Figure out
next time. Next week on the GrubCast.